Hi, I'm Manita. I'm here in the greenhouse that we built up over the weekend. It's raining outside, so I'm really appreciating this space already, and I'm busy pricking out seedlings and putting the space to good use, which is great. So a slightly different format to the videos that I'm used to making, so please bear with me. So in this video you'll be able to see how we put up the greenhouse, and also how I save a lot of money by the ways that I fill my raised beds. So I hope you enjoy this video. Please feel free to leave any comments below, but meanwhile I better get some pricking out done. So I've just nipped back in the house, get my cosy coat on, and to get my tripod. You can see just behind me there, and I had a lovely surprise in my tripod bag when I was getting it. Now my daughter and family and my grandchildren moved off to sunnier climes just a few weeks ago, and I'm still finding bits and pieces around the house that has been left. And this was a little treasure that I found in my tripod bag. I love finding little bits like this. It just reminds me of the fun that we had whilst they were at home, and lots of time for games and playing and things like that. So yeah, lots of fun. Thank you, Everly. What are you up to?
Cleaning up. Always important to clean your workshop after you've done a job. So
I heard you making lots of noise earlier.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So not entirely finished this job, you're just coming halfway through. We're making some corner posts for locating your greenhouse. So the greenhouse has got a wooden frame that it sits on, and we're going to put one of these in each corner, drive it into the ground, and we're going to screw through into the wooden frame. So next job will be to mark up and drill some holes in the angle iron. We've cut the points on them, cut the metal to length, cut the points on them. So hopefully they'll go into the ground, because we've got very stony ground here. But that's the plan. When you're cutting and grinding, you get lots and lots of powdery mess. So just clean up all the tiny little powders of metal and grinding stone. In fact, I saved this because I thought you might find it interesting. So the little bits of powder off my chop saw, it's like a big, it's like a miter saw but for metal work. And of course the little bits of metal, little particles fly off. They're bright red. They're glowing because they're so hot. And now and again they all stick on the inside of the guard and they fuse together. So that is effectively some very weak metal. Little bits of powder. That's actually not that weak, but they all bind together because they like fuse together, and then they fall off eventually. We're only using the milling machine for this because we've got one, and it's nice and big and steady, and it's got really good speed control. The little pillar drill would do this as well, but why use a little toy when you've got a big toy?
the rain's coming on now, so we need to move quite quickly to get the greenhouse up here. But this is why we had to take the greenhouse down into sections, so that we could get it under the canopy and manoeuvre it up here. So this is the top garden. This is where the majority of the food growing is going to take place, and entertaining and fun, just because we can. But this is where all the wood is being stored over winter. This is tarpaulin covering it, protect it from the snow and the rain, and a lot of that will get put through the chipper, and we'll store it for firewood as well. This is another pile of branches and twigs and leaves that we left over winter, because basically we ran out of time, and that's where the composting station is. I've got various bits of cardboard and carpet, all carpet on the ground, just to stop the weeds coming back, and in winter time it prevents it getting quite so slippery. And this is where the greenhouse is going. So those trees there, just the two there, will need to come down, unfortunately, because they will overhang the greenhouse, and I can't take the risk that anything's going to fall in on the greenhouse. So Adam has gone off to get the chainsaw, and we'll quickly take those trees down. But they won't go to waste. They'll be used for firewood, maybe supports in the garden, and the little twigs and things will go through the chipper. One of the things that I love about my very robust composting bin is that I can sit on it, and I have been known to have a wee lie down on it as well, because it's just in the perfect spot for the sun coming round. So I thank Adam for making this such a robust composting station.
Pleased because it actually went in. You can see how far off square our posts were, our pegs were,
Yeah.
recently.
Barrow loads of soil to de-stone and bring up from the front garden to the top garden. But at least the base is in and it is level.
Bye. Still okay there? Still okay there?
As I continue to fill the inside and bring it up to level, and also put a pathway down the side.
His.
Good job. I better give Adam a wee hand to shift all this stuff. This is all the stuff that came out of my greenhouse from where it once was. And as you can see, I can't get past with a wheelbarrow.
So we were heading for.
That's the trailer all emptied. Now we've just got to move it.
Move it, move it, move it.
Yes. Let's get Hugel on and get this moved. And look, Adam's car's all nice and empty, and it will get a nice good clean out. Not like my car. Does anybody else out there have lectures off their other half of how dirty their inside of their car is? And yes, that will last with us for many, many years to come. And one day I might actually clean out my car, but not
I would like to know why it is that your house is so pristine and your car is such a tip. Why is that? It's like the yin and the yang, isn't it? I suspect Renita has lost count of how many barrel loads that she's brought up here.
Adam's just putting the last little piece in. Yeah, what we'd been discussing earlier while we're having a quick cuppa, sat on the compost bin of course, was maybe replacing some of these panels here for clear panels, because the view of the burn running by would be absolutely lovely to be able to see right through, and it wouldn't affect the greenhouse getting too hot and scorching the plants because it's at the back of the greenhouse. So that's something that we might look into at a later date. But for now, it's looking pretty good. So I am absolutely delighted. Still lots of work to do. I'm still building up the soil inside and around the edge, which I'll show you later.
Oh, just the first moment of truth.
So I am delighted that we've now got the potting table in place, and we've got the white membrane down. And the reason why we're using white membrane is because we've got loads of it left over from the doing the drains in the front garden, so we're just going to use what we've got. And the wood chip is what we had chipped from the branches from late last year, so we're just using that. Adam is still busy putting the clips in, make sure that everything's secure.
Putting a few extras in, just to be sure.
Yep.
Your greenhouse does not need to withstand lots of days of nice weather. It has to withstand one day of hurricane gales.
Well, that's good, but hopefully we won't need it. So next I'm going to start working on the beds. These are going to be growing beds this year, so I better start filling them up. So the first layer that I've put down in here, thinking about the Hugel bed method, I've put in well rotted branches at the bottom layer. So that's basically what I've done with this wood chip. I know that it's a couple of years old, it's about 3 years old, so it's still got a little bit of breaking down to do, but this is a good solid base for me to build on top of, for all the carbon to go back down into the ground, and it saves on your compost as well. So my next layer is going to be as much homemade compost as what I can, and then it will be topped off by shop bought organic compost that I can plant straight into. So that's my next step. That's the compost that's actually been there for a good few years. That's the one that we're filling up just now, and in the next week or so I will be looking to add some potash to that and to give it a stir, and then move it all into there to eventually go into there and ready for use. So this is what I'm going to use today. So that's the top layer of the shop bought compost, which was peat free and organic. Now, because of the system that I'd used, I only had to use 2 bags of shop bought compost, so that really does keep the costs down. So if you remember, the bottom layer I had well rotted wood chip, and then I put a layer of my own homemade compost, and I did actually add a layer of well rotted manure that we had on site that I got a number of years ago. So that just left a little space at the top for the shop bought compost, which is a huge financial saving. So worth thinking about if you're planning on doing something similar. And you can do the same with raised beds actually in the garden as well, no difference. So around the other side you can see I've got my shelving unit all ready for storing my seed trays and potting on trays, and then my seedlings, and also I've got my potting bench. So I'm just ready to fill it up with the rest of my stuff. So that's the greenhouse all up, ready for action. A very exciting time for us on our next stage, our home economic journey. But for now, I will bid you a farewell, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!